Virtual worlds. Every kid born between the year 2000 and 2010's first experiences into the world of gaming. They really are phenomenal, whether you play to make new friends, decorate your house and character to look cooler than anybody else, or even just those addictive mini-games, looking at you Kart Surfer. They were genuinely amazing. But there's a ton of them, and there's a lot of neat things about them too. So many in fact that I decided to make this video. So here are 50 facts about some of my favourites that you probably didn't need to know, but get to know anyway, because everyone knows that's the best kind of information. Starting off with the list, we have Mini Monos, the first virtual world I ever played, and coincidentally, the first virtual world to use eco cards for its membership. These cards had seeds inside which could be recycled or used in compost, unlike most other memberships at the time. Next up we have another one of my favourite virtual worlds, Moshi Monsters. There are more than 180, yeah, 180 parodies in the game of both real world and fictional people, places and things. Some of my favourites are SpongeBob SquarePants, a parody of SpongeBob SquarePants, Big Top Ballyhoo, which is a parody of Big Top Scooby-Doo, and the most relevant of all at the current moment, Taylor Myth, a parody of Taylor Swift. Bin Weevils was a weird game, which being honest, I'm not sure how it was the longest running out of all of them in this video. Due to being a kids game, it had to be heavily restricted on what it could and couldn't do. However, 55 Pixels found an easy workaround towards this, using Bemph as the Weevil equivalent of fuck, with the first users dating all the way back to the game's launch in 2003. Whenever people think of the earliest Toys to Life game, they usually think of one such as Skylanders. However, the first game ever in this genre was actually UB Funkies, which coincidentally was a virtual world as well. The game launched in 2007 with 49 different figures to collect, with some being in 3 different rarities too. One of the only games which is still going on this list is Animal Jam, and the game has a ton of neat facts about it too. One of my favourites is that the coffee bean bags in the Hot Cocoa Hut have SBR written on them, which stands for Smart Bomb Interactive. Despite seeming random at first, this was Wildworks' old company name. I've never played Pop Tropica, but a lot of people have, so it seems only fitting to add it onto the list. In the entirety of the game, you only ever see one villain kill another character, this being the binary bird who kills Merlin the owl. The robotic bird was also his old companion. Club Penguin is definitely the most popular game in the video, if not ever if being honest. One of my favourite things about the game was how often it had parties. The longest of these was Operation Crustacean, which lasted a whopping 78 days, yet the longest event was the 101 Days of Fun, which lasted, well, 101 days. Moshi Monsters really did have a lot of parodies, and one of these ended up in Mind Candy being sued by, of course, Lady Gaga. The company held up a pitiful defence in court and was forced to change the character to Baby Rocks, which also led to the removal of Dustbin Beaver as well as a precaution. Truly a tragic loss for the music industry that day. Back to Bin Weevils already, we just can't seem to get away from the game. Poshy's bin pet, Lady Wawa, was also inspired by this pop icon, however this time there was no lawsuit involved in the matter. Perhaps Lady Gaga was a huge Bin Weevils fan. Panthy was strange. It wasn't that well received in the UK and US, yet in mainland Europe it was huge. The game also had a newspaper called Panthu News for a year, which was renamed to the Bamboo Gazette, yet again for a year, before being removed entirely, being replaced by the Panthu blog, simply. I know I said Bin Weevils was the longest running on this list, but I completely forgot about Neopets. One of my favourite events in the game was the Altador Cup, which happened every year. No team has ever won the cup 3 times, yet Kiko Lake, Haunted Woods and Tyrania have won it twice. You'd think it'd be a lot harder than it is to think of facts of a game that shut down over a decade ago, but even a lot of the trivial stuff is unknown. The name Mini Monos stood for Little Monkeys, seen as the players, the monkeys. It just makes sense, but as well as this, the islands are also shaped like a monkey's head, with each ear being either a volcano or a whirlpool respectively. The author of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, Jeff Kinney, was also the primary creator of Pop Tropica. The game even featured an island based on these books, which coincided with the second film's release, Wimpy Wonderland. Crash Bandicoot and Spyro Adventure is the most obscure on the list by a mile. The game is completely lost media, with none of it being known except for around 20 of the 92 promotional cards and a few pictures of the hub world. The game was also a promotional event due to the release of Spyro Orange and Crash Bandicoot Purple in 2004 and was only up for less than a year. Despite being fairly big in terms of virtual worlds, I've never seen many facts about Fantage, but today, that changes. Did you know that there were actually 3 different versions of the game, these being Fantage, Fantage Europe and weirdly, Fantage Japan, with the latter not having a membership system at all. The second Monkey game on this list, and also the second Nickelodeon game, is Monkey Quest. There were many attempts for Nick to get this game transferred into the world of television. In early 2012 there were rumours for a Monkey Quest movie going around, yet it was never confirmed whether these were true or not, but it was confirmed that a series was planned to happen, which had gotten half a year into the making before getting cancelled due to the game's decline in popularity. Another Animal Jam fact, which you definitely didn't know, is that Zeus was supposedly inspired by Viracocha, the Incan god of creation. They both share an extremely similar appearance and backstory too, with Zeus being the creator of the universe which Jammer is situated in. Club Penguin's moderators were originally planned to be polar bears, as it would make them seem more of an authority figure when present, yet this idea was scrapped due to being counterintuitive, as they couldn't go undercover and would also encourage bad behaviour when they were not present. Toontown Online was probably Disney's most well-known game, except for Club Penguin, and for good reason. It was many kids' first introduction into RPGs. The Cellbots in this game were originally planned to have purple suits, yet in the official release of the game, they were later changed to be brown. My god, Space Heroes Universe, also known as Little Space Heroes, was the most obscure virtual world I've ever heard of. I was scraping for facts for this, but I couldn't just not do one. I grew up on this game after all. Despite the game's extremely small player base, it had its own cartoon series, kinda. It had a whopping 2 episodes before mysteriously getting cancelled. Bin Weevils had so many secrets just sitting around in random places too. My favourite of these was at Castle Gam. If you clicked a brick on the side of the wall that was darker than the rest, 2 dragons which would closely resemble Colin would fly in front of the entrance and breathe fire. As well as this, on Tycoon Island, if you clicked all the windows on a building, the top part would fly off. This is because it was actually a UFO. As many fans of the game know, UB Funky had a collaboration with Speed Racer, but there was also another planned collaboration that not many people knew about, being a DC crossover. The characters for it were shown in the San Diego Comic Con in 2008, with the game being discontinued just a few weeks before the set was due to release, sadly. It's still unknown whether Panther was officially shut down, as recently a version popped up using the original branding and website. However, the Wikipedia page says that it's still closed down. If this is the official version, it would make it the only virtual world to come back from closing, that I know of at least. In the Chamber of Knowledge, an already secret area in Animal Jam, there's a goldfish. That's it. That's the fact. I told you some of these would be pointless, and here we are. The Moshi world would probably have been a lot different than it was, and was drastically changed due to the Great Custard Flood of 99999.5, which led to many Moshlin's extinction and culture being wiped out. Great Moshlin Egg was also thought to be lost due to this event, yet was proven false in the movie. Club Penguin were early sneaky when it came to finding a way to catch hackers out. One of my favourite ways that they did this was through bait items completely unobtainable through normal means, which banned an account if they got access, and it wasn't a moderator. Some of these were pretty sick though, and I wish they were added, like Rookie's shirt. Oh my god, the wheels spun to yet another Animal Jam fact. Many people know that the game had a partnership with National Geographic, but a lot of people think that this is still ongoing, which just isn't true. The partnership ended in 2018 for unknown reasons. I'm going to say 3 words that strike fear into the hearts of any UB Funkies fan. Big red button. The buttons reside in Laputa Station and Nightmare Rift, and it's unknown as to what they do to this day to like 99% of people that played the game, except for making a simple noise. Except, I know now, and you don't get to know. I don't make the rules, sorry, it's just the community's way of going about it. But also, if you thought that just 2 buttons were bad enough, there's also an entire room in Angus Manor containing about 20 of them. Jeff just wanted to watch the world burn. Toontown didn't get that much merchandise, which was surprising to be honest when you look at the size, but like most other games similar to it, it had a series of trading cards showing different things such as shopkeepers, cogs and gags, but there wasn't one for every one of the 651 NPCs. Oh hey, that's a 2-in-1 fact kinda. Neat. Club Penguin was renowned for its soundtrack, primarily consisting of library music or being composed by Chris Hendricks typically. However, the first songs in the game were neither of these, instead being by Task 1000, an experimental rock band in which Dave Crisco's nephew was part of. The most popular song, I've Been Delayed, also played during the game shutdown in 2017, and it's one of my favourite songs ever. The Binscape was home to a tragic event with countless deaths, the Great Bin War. Not much is known about this event except for the fact that Gam, Men, Kung Fu all fought in it, with Gam earning 2 medals for his bravery. It's still unknown why the event occurred though. In Moshi Monsters, there was a Moshling which only one person could obtain, preventing anybody from getting a completed zoo and ruining their dreams. Raffi. The Moshling was created by a winner of a charity auction, and it's still unknown to this day who had the Higgledy Hypnotizer. The Moshling also got listed in an NFT recently, but it was taken down shortly after. Similarly to Club Penguin, Mini Monos had their own version of stamps, Top Cats. They could be earned from a number of things, such as playing minigames, adding friends, and unlike Club Penguin, through real world things like picking up litter and recycling. It's unknown whether anyone got all 100 cats however. The Crash Bandicoot crossover weren't the only virtual world that Spyro wound up in. He also had a more recent one called Skylanders Universe. The official guide for Spyro's adventure featured a neat code for this game, which you'll get a penguin for your Skyland. Game of the year right there. Fish.io was one of my favourite virtual worlds ever. It was genuinely amazing. You just catch fish. What's there not to love? The biggest fish in the game you could catch was the whale shark, which in game grows up to 20 metres, which is also on the upper end of how big they grow in real life, showing the attention to detail which is rarely put in place. The trader's shopkeeper in Mini Monos is called Babbage, due to being inspired by a baboon. Perhaps the other half of the name is a play on the word cabbage. In Pop Tropica, one of the main ways which transport between the islands is on a yellow blimp, commonly referred to as Pop Tropica Blimp. However, this blimp actually has a name, which was revealed in Skullduggery Island book to be called Aurora. Scribbles is the author of Weevil Weekly, being credited under this name on all of his works. However, his real name is Flum, with Flum's Fountain also being named after this celebrity. Scott Cawthon had a lot of games before FNAF, but one of the lesser known of these was Flanville, a Legacy of Flan virtual world. The game was originally planned to be the 4th main instalment in this series though, and is still called Legacy of Flan 4 in the game files. Super Glooper Day happened on the 31st of May every year in Moshi Monsters, and was only possible due to Icky, a giant monster who visits Monstro City every year without fail, providing the gloop for many products such as Gloop Brew Muffins and Gloop Soup. However, one year, the monster was stuck atop the DIY store, and he confused Dewey for his mother, Gooey. For a large amount of time, one of Club Penguin's biggest mysteries was about who the director is, with many penguins theorising that it could have been Gary, or Rory for example. However, in one of the DS games, it was revealed to be Aunt Arctic. That's why she knew so much, guys, but that's just a theory, a game theory. Bitty Bay was probably the smallest virtual world on here, with not even 100k members before it was closed. It was also the only virtual world except for Animal Jam to offer membership with in-game currency, costing 1500 bits for a year. Tavy, one of the two, is the only member of the Elves in Animal Jam to not have a pack hideout based upon her. She was also the only aquatic one too though, so it may be due to her only appearing in the classic game. There are a wide range of things to do on Neopets that are not directly accessible through searching the site. One of my favourites of these is the Drake Nest, which is where you hatch any drake eggs that you have. The area is technically in Merridam, yet is only accessible if you have the direct link to it. Pet Pet Park is the final Nickelodeon game on the list, and is also a spin-off of Neopets, in which you could pick from 9 of these creatures' pets. Something quite funny to me is that these pets had pets too, known as Pet Pets. I wonder if there were Pet Pets. In Moshi Monsters, Peppy the Stunt Penguin was offered a place to be in the Freezer Riders, yet declined due to them being mean to her friend Tomba. You like Peppy. One of the coolest backstories in Funkers is that of the Stitch Fry. They were trusted with a secret King Funk and Carmoon, yet they were too good at keeping this secret that other Funkers started telling them their secrets too. This led to them evolving to have lips sewed shut, an eye for danger, and no heart, all of these being so that they wouldn't share these secrets. Creepy, yet cool. Similar to Club Penguin, Animal Jam also has its own cipher used for secret messages. This is the Tiger script. The font appeared a number of times in games, such as on chalkboards, but was not officially decoded until 2016, when Animal Jam HQ finally acknowledged it. Neopets was originally designed for an audience of university students to keep them entertained and for some easy cash, as revealed in a Guardian article. However, the game quickly grew out of control in popularity with children. Club Penguin's Plaza was originally planned to look extremely different than it did in the game's official release. Instead of stage, the dojo was planned to be in this location instead of the mountain tops. A bowling alley was also planned in this location instead of the pet shop, yet the interior of this room was never designed. And that makes all 50, and the end of this video. What's your favourite fact that I didn't mention here? Comment it down below and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the vid. I was your host, the Info Arcade, and I'll catch you in the next one.